This starts with our protagonist saying that he can't find his gym clothes. While thinking about that, he sees Kurumi passing by and thinks that she is the most beautiful thing in the world and that he would like to be with her. While he was wandering in his thoughts, a guy accidentally bumps into him, who apologizes to him. But our protagonist doesn't even know his name, nor his friends' names. So he thinks he just doesn't remember names of such shady people, to which our protagonist nods. After a while, we see the waifu entering her room, which is filled with pictures of the protagonist. We also notice that the room has more objects belonging to him. Then we see that the waifu does know his name. But more importantly, she says she loves him very much. Finally, we are shown the protagonist saying that he wants her to somehow know him, at least his name, before graduation. The next day begins with the protagonist realizing that he has no eraser. While thinking about how he would fix it, Kurumi walks by and leaves him one. The protagonist starts thinking things like, did she notice that he was in trouble and that not only is she beautiful, but she's a goddess too? But right after that, the guy from the day before asks him why he's so restless, saying that she scares him. The other guy tells him not to pry, but the guy insists, asking him if it doesn't bother him that shady people are so dense with each other. The protagonist says that's true while thinking that surely Kurumi noticed he was uneasy about not having an eraser and, thinking it was annoying, lent it to him. Well, the protagonist returns the eraser to her, thanking her. Of course, when he gets home, we see that the waifu had the protagonist's eraser, and then we see that she has a bag where she keeps the erasers he has used. And, well, finally, we see the main character say that he should have given it back to her with a gift because the eraser smelled good. And, well, what happiness, isn't it? On another day, the protagonist was kind of shopping. While he was thinking about that, he sees his longed-for Kurumi in casual clothes, while fantasizing or something. But while he was at it, the guys from school passed by talking about shady guys and stuff, saying that they sure don't want to meet guys like that on their days off. The main character, after hearing that, thinks that surely if she met him, she wouldn't be able to enjoy her days off, and after thinking that, well, she leaves. But then, at the waifu's house, we see her writing a map of the protagonist's shopping tour, while saying that seeing him twice in casual clothes this month is cool. Although, well, she actually means that the protagonist is cool, but hey, then we see the protagonist walking around, as he wonders if he had to do something around the area, and that maybe someday they can go shopping together, right? Because, well, dreaming is free, right? Another day at school, the protagonist was saying good morning while someone was recording him. Well, the thing is that he was practicing because today he wanted to say good morning to his beloved Kurumi. But while he was practicing, the guys arrive. The guy thinks that the protagonist was saying good morning to him. Then he says that it's too weird to be greeted by a gloomy person, and just thinking that he's friends with the protagonist makes him depressed. The protagonist apologizes and says that he is right. A good morning from him is just an annoyance. But while he was thinking about that, we see again someone filming him. And right after that, in a house at night, we see the waifu using the PC to show us that the next day, the waifu is woken up by the protagonist's good morning. And, well, finally, we see the protagonist saying that he could at least try to say goodbye, right? And that a goodbye that camouflages with the crowd would be nice. The next day, Uman was bragging that yesterday 10 women came on to him. The protagonist is surprised and tells him that it's unbelievable. The man laughs and says he'll give him some advice on that. Then the protagonist says there's a girl he wants to talk to. The man tells him that he can fish her out with a conversation. It turns out that if he talks passionately in front of her about whatever gender he's good at, women will talk to him. Then the protagonist starts saying that lately he is addicted to Recap Manga, and that he is also addicted to the game called Jin Impact. After that, the man asks him if he wants to fish for Kurumi, to which the protagonist tells him that he's not trying to get there, he just wants to get a little closer to her. Then the man tells him that if it were him, he could get her. But the protagonist can't, so he'd better leave it at that. The protagonist gets depressed but says yes. And well, the man, as if to cheer him up, tells him to go to Animate on the way home, which is like some kind of manga and video game store. Anyway, the obvious waifu heard all that, so we see how he buys a bunch of the manga that the protagonist said he liked. And finally, we see the protagonist saying that this character looks like the waifu, and if it would be okay to tell her that she looks like her. Well, another day it turns out that they are going to change seats. The main character gets to sit by the window. It turns out that the waifu is going to sit next to him. The protagonist gets nervous, but tries to calm down and just says hello to her, right? But, well, he does that, and it's a disaster. Anyway, after that he thinks he wants to die, and when he was trying to justify himself, the waifu tells him that she knows. to which the protagonist almost bleeds to death. But, well, right after that comes to bother that guy, he says he has a good seat and that he's in front of the teacher's desk, so he'll take the protagonist's place. And he goes on to say that he thinks everyone would be disappointed to sit next to a shady guy, asking Kurumi if it's true. Well, after that, the protagonist thinks it's true that someone like him has talked about Kurumi. But this time, just this time, the guy tells him to give him the ticket, but the protagonist is empty-handed. Then the guy asks him where the ticket is, but he himself doesn't know. Well, in the end, the friend takes him away for being annoying. Back at the waifu's house, we see her lying on the floor making interesting sounds, right? And it turns out that she had the main character's ticket, but now it's all hers, isn't it? And, well, at the same time, but in another place, we see the protagonist telling his friend that he talked to Kurumi today and to make seiken today, right? It's a dish that is made to celebrate, to which the man asks him what's wrong with him. Well, the next day we are introduced to someone saying that he has natural shiny hair and no makeup. That is a natural style. They tell us that Fukuda Tomomi's strong point lies in her perfectly achieved, adorable awkwardness. And they even give us an example where just asking for a pen makes this guy crazy. So much so that he even thinks that she likes him, and she is an introvert killer. Anyway, after a while she meets Kurumi and she thinks about her what everyone thinks about her, right? But well, the point is that Kurumi drops her notebook, and in order to pick it up, the red-haired girl looks at a picture of the main character. Obviously, she's surprised about that and thinks, why does she already have a picture of an introvert, right? In the end, she thinks that maybe she just liked the glasses, and while telling Kurumi that she picked up what she dropped, she looks at her trembling and blushing, to which she obviously gets even more confused. But hey, the waifu is so cute that even she starts drooling. Anyway, the redhead wonders why she's acting like that, and that she can't believe it's really about that person. But, well, it's kind of obvious that it is. Finally, the redhead wonders if she's really after that person. And that's the end of this first part. If you liked it and want to see the second part, then support this video and I will bring you the second part as soon as possible.